Hi, stranger. It's been a while. I've missed you. It's okay. You can look at my butt. I feel like I can really be vulnerable around you.
Young pilots driving down the street, their eyes in blue show what they need. Young pilots flying high in the sky, just one click and anyone will die. Young pilots fighting for our freedom, they're fighting for our love. Young pilots, please don't suck. Young pilots driving down the street.
You know the Dave Darren Show.
Not enough to boil a monkey's bum.
Most people say, who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Like Disneyland, I'm the happiest fucking guy on earth.
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Are you a puff duck?
He used to be on terrestrial radio, but he got fired.
It's over. Don't you think it's over?
I'll spit.
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Here comes the boss fella now.
Dave Darren.
Welcome to the Dave Darren Show. How's it going, guys? I've got this cool-ass guy on, Rik. How's it going, Rik?
Pretty fucking good, brother. Pretty fucking good. I'll just step up to the camera if I need to show this.
Good. Now, let me tell the audience something about you. First of all, I thought you were this radio personality that was from Phoenix, Arizona, and I had a fucking fiasco with this guy. So I thought for a second you were him. Now, that doesn't mean I would have prohibited you to come on the show. I would have just beaten the fuck out of you on the air. So it's
no,
not...
that was you. You were that guy from Phoenix.
Man. I'm that douchebag from Phoenix.
I wouldn't have a problem trademarking that one right now.
So I'll tell you what, you know what I want to do first is I want to make sure that we get enough of an audience build up. Well, what I'll do right now is I'll play a video so we can get some of these Arizona, New York City, and maybe anyone that you marketed to being on the show today dialed in here to check the show out. But in the meantime, I'm going to play a video here that I got, and this is a crazy ass video. Check this out. I did a little bit of messing around with it, but here we go.
To enemy, that's what you are to me. You make up screaming down in lines we could never see eye to eye. Used to speak 10 times a day, now I don't give a damn. second until she retires. She won't focus to the I'm on the block. I tell you to run of these bitches cuckoo. For love for money, this shit you cuckoo. Hips, lips, sick like the flu. I won't deny her sex with girl, I got your number. I bet now you're missing my number. The Titan taking you under, and now you're hearing the thunder. So you wanna fight? Let's roll down tonight. You'll see the shining light. She's all takes
Let me ask you, so Rick, you've had an experience with being a radio personality, I believe, and trying to do the shit that I do, right? Am I right about that?
Well, I've co-hosted with a couple of radio personalities before. That shall remain nameless.
Let me ask you this. What was your skill in holding a conversation? Did you pre-rehearse the show? Did you go off the top of your head? And the reason I'm asking that is because, like, I had you on the show, I probably talked to you for about 4 or 5 sentences. I found out almost nothing about you, and there's a few reasons why I do that. One is so I have an excuse that if I fuck up the interview, it's because I didn't do research on you. So that's one excuse I can lay out there. And the other is I want to learn everything about you at the same time that my fans listen and learn about you. So you've had a career in radio as I do right now. And do you feel like telling us any of the stations you were on or the people that you work with, or it's got to remain all anonymous because you lived on bad terms just like I did?
Yeah, well, I haven't had any like real radio experience, but I've co-hosted a lot of shows and I've called in on a couple of the local stations around here. I really have no opinion to offer on anybody because I don't want to, you don't
want to have my
image. Trying to build a music career.
So you're also a musician as well, and so you have a history of being a musician. I think you played with a couple bands you were telling me about. So who are some of the guys you played with, or opened for as well?
Originally speaking, I was with a band called Above Ground for like 5 years, and while I was in the middle of that, this thing you see behind me right here is Something Metal. You can go to somethingmetal.com, or you can go to Something Metal Northwest Promotions on Facebook and see kind of what we're up to. We are a promoter, but we're kind of a hub for other bands to use.
You sort of met your wife at one of the gigs.
Hey, Stixie, let's go clubbing. Nah, you go though.
You gave your wife, which was not your wife, like your girlfriend, but it was she was dating somebody else, and you wiggled in there somehow. How did you wiggle into that? How'd you wiggle into the vagina that way? How'd you do it?
Well, it was an ex, and she was kind of like needing a roof over her head at that particular time, and I didn't wiggle into shit. I kicked the fucking door open and said, "You come in with me."
Well, you know when they say they want a roof over, when they say they want a roof over their head, that doesn't mean that they're lying under you, and the roof is actually your body on top of them. That's not what they mean by the roof over their head, Rick.
I guess this guy had to club, or she had to club this guy over the head every once in a while and remind him of that.
Well, clubbing's not very nice, is it? I mean, if you like someone, why would you smash them over the head with a weighty piece of tree?
Because it's a guaranteed knockout.
But anyway, I got her out of there, and
We got a penis and they got a bug's cave.
And we got married like 2 years later, and this last 20th of May, we got married.
Clubbing's what my dad taught me.
Yes, and he also taught you to throw poo when you're cranky, because he's a monkey.
Take that back.
Take what back?
You take that back.
I can't take back the fact that your dad is an actual monkey. I don't understand.
shown that eyes are dry until you're lying all alone at night. What are you playing for? I can't stand up for us no more. These two hands reaching out, but now you're falling further out of touch. Broken heart stolen, always knew it wasn't meant to be. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Truth is unspoken, drowning in the lies of you and me. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Keep me strong. We know that all the feeling's gone. We know we don't belong. Our love is wrong. Heal and deliver. We've been here before, time over, still taking score, but now we're older, losing count of all the years that brought me back to you. Broken heart stolen, always knew it wasn't meant to be. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Truth is unspoken, drowning in the lies of you and me. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Keep me strong. We know that all the feeling's gone. We know we don't belong. Our love is wrong. Heal and deliver. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know, we know. We know, we know, we know, we know, we know, we know. Keep me strong. We know that all the feeling's gone. We know we don't belong. Our love is wrong. Heal and deliver. Keep me strong. We know that all the feeling's gone. We know we don't belong. Our love is wrong. Heal and deliver. Heal and deliver. Our love is wrong. Our love is wrong.
But the two of us are the face of Something Metal. We promote local bands, we support local bands, we support all things when it comes to local bands, both cover and original and cover.
Wow, now you're in Seattle, Washington, right? Is that where you are? You're in Seattle.
Yeah.
Now I heard the rumor, and I don't know if this is true, that some of the really rocking places in the country, one of them happens to be Seattle. I know the other one they say is Austin, Texas, and Phoenix, Arizona supposedly has a great metal scene, and I lived in Arizona for a while, and they really do have some great metal bands, but the support system in Arizona sucks big time. Now, let me ask you about Seattle. Seattle, from what I've heard, has got a great scene, but do they have the support system that they need to make that great scene actually succeed?
Well, there's different parts of Seattle and outlying areas, such as like Tacoma, and I mean, originally speaking, there's really nothing going on the east side like Bellevue, but Tacoma and Seattle are working together. Something Metal works by a mantra of unity and community, and what we're trying to do with this movement is pull people back together and get everybody working together. I mean, we want multiple promoters. There's plenty to go around. There's lots of cake here, but as long as everybody's fighting over it, then you get the clicks. But the thing is we've been getting, there's a lot more community going on up in this area. It's starting to act like it was back in the 90s when the grunge movement took off, you know. And that's when nobody had any secrets. Everybody was working together. I mean, you look at Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Stark, you know, all those, you know, Mother Love Bone. I mean, that was just a big goddamn incestual bowl of love, man.
What's the reason for the lack of really great stuff happening between the mid-90s and still today, where now we're trying to recover? Why the gap? Was it the Napsters and all that shit that devoured music and fucking messed it up?
Well, I remember, you know, I go back, first I have to say, the 70s, you know, I mean, there was a band called Sorcerer's Apprentice that played a bunch of Pink Floyd and Jeff Beck and a bunch of the, you know, Off Blow by Blow and a bunch of that good old shit that we used to dance to back in high school in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
And there was another band called Rail and Company that ended up going national, and they're called Rail. Now, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they put an album out, and Terry Young was known for his fuzzy boots and his eyeliner, and those guys are still at it. They're out there throwing it down still. Started happening in the late 80s, you know, with Alice in Chains, Mother Love Bone, and Soundgarden and all that. And then the 90s, it just fucking exploded, right? And because the community was all one. And I remember back then, it was like everybody knew everybody. And nowadays, you know, it's like it's getting plugged with a lot of guitar-centered YouTube rock stars and that are out doing cover bands and tributes that sound absolutely nothing like them. I mean, there are some really good tributes up here. As a matter of fact, there is 4 select bands out here. I'll leave their names out of it, but we've even got some Pink Floyd tributes. We've got some really, really good tribute bands out here. And of course, you know, to our age group, it's selling like freaking mad, man. People want to go listen to what they grew up on.
Right. Yeah, it's really true. But you know the problem with that.
And what that does is it takes a crowd away from some of the really great music that's still coming out of the area. I mean, Chris Cornell, rest in peace, brother, but before he passed, he was quoted as to saying that the next big thing was going to come out of the Northwest, come out of Seattle again. And there is some unbelievable music coming out of the Seattle Spokane area nowadays. And, you know, a band that we've had the pleasure of working with, Eldorado from Spokane, Blood, they just got back from tour. Window Pane, we haven't worked with them, but they've really been doing good. And Queensryche, there's a Seattle band, they're going back out and touring like mad now. Mike Howe's back in Metal Church, and they're out touring all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of attention in the Northwest again. I think it's given this place a good shot in the arm. And what Something Metal wants to do is give that sense of unity and give the scene that shot in the arm of the sense of unity that it used to have.
welcome back to the show. We're rapping here with Rik. We're having a blast with Rik. We're talking about music. Rik, let me ask you this question. I've had some musical legends from the past, some of these real rock stars who have had a big foundation, big career in music. And I asked them, because there's been like a gap between when they recorded a long time ago. They're still playing their classic rock material, but not a whole lot of stuff brand new is coming out of them. And I asked them, I said, you know, guys, why is that? And they tell me that the reason is because it's so fucking hard to sell the music and make money at it. And the demand for the replays of their classic rock is so great that they don't fuck around with the new stuff. But that could be one of the problems with today's music too, is that the rock and roll legends, the big guys that made the scene happen in the 70s and the 80s are no longer producing, and they're kind of giving the feedback to the young guys in that it's too fucking hard because they're not even willing to take the risk. What do you feel about that? Are they selling themselves short? Are they fucking up with the next generation of great musicians, which there are great musicians out there? Are they telling them that, fuck, it's not even worth it, dudes, hang it up, forget it? What's the message out of this?
Yeah, I think you've been listening to Gene Simmons, bro.
Well, I know. Yeah.
He's like, I've already sucked up all the fucking money and there's nothing left for anybody else.
Yeah, but that's a sellout. That's a fucking sellout. I don't like that. You know, I may have listened to him, and you're right, I did. But I don't like the end result, and I don't like the final word. What do you think? Do you like that result, or you fucking sucks?
Hell no. Hell no. You know, the thing is, you know, like you said, it was the Napsters and a lot of the streaming companies. You know, I don't know what kind of royalties go back to, you know, out of iTunes that go back to the bands, or what Spotify or any of these other streaming companies, you know, what kind of royalties that they're paying to, of course, probably the record companies and you know, you just got way too many fingers in the pie. And I think that, you know, the big bands, the only way they're making money is throwing these gigantic tours with these ridiculous ticket prices. And in order to finance the tour, they have the other bands buy onto it.
Yes, you're right. I've heard that.
Meanwhile, all those ridiculous ticket prices are lining the pockets of the fat cats and getting the big tour buses around.
Yeah, let me ask you this. I'm really curious. You mentioned something that I want to talk about before I forget it. You're right. I've heard this before a lot. That you're right. A major band comes into town, whether it be Phoenix, New York City, Philadelphia, Seattle, and they make the young guys, the openers for them, sell tickets. In fact, that means that they're helping to fund that mainstream band, collecting money kind of off of the guys that are breaking in and trying to get with these big tours. However, the reverse of that I hear is that they're getting exposed to 20 or 30,000 people that they may not have ever gotten exposure to. So they're paying an advertisement cost to getting in front of those great amount of people. So what do you think about that argument? And that's the argument I get back, is exactly that. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I mean, if 10,000 out of those 25,000 thought you sucked, was it worth the buck? You know?
Right.
That's just the way the business has gone, you know. I mean, we've done a lot of pay-to-play local gigs. Above ground, we've opened for Anvil, Diamond Head, Raven, Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper, and Puddle of Mud. I mean, and a night they didn't have a meltdown. And but there's been sometimes it's like we just sell the rest of our tickets to stay in good standing with the venue, you know. But it served us direct support and had a good crowd in front of us. But there's other times that you go in there, you sell all your tickets, you end up getting more. You have a good merch night. You get a kick down back from the venue because you have a bunch of people in front of you. And sometimes it works out. You know, it's freaking pay to play. Unfortunately, that's where the industry's gone. And you got to climb up through those freaking ranks, or you got to have a manager.
Lord, if I'd have listened to what my dear old mother said, well, she's dead and gone.
These people are taking our jobs. You know what? That's a myth.
Nobody wants to work in agriculture any longer. It's not an American job any longer. We invited people, and they were asking, well, is there a limousine that's going to come pick me up for work? Out of the hundreds of thousands of people that responded, 11 people actually went to go work in the fields, and none of them endured.
If you're only making less than minimum wage, then that job can't be that hard. It's got to be easier than flipping a burger. It's just got to be.
Though she's dead and gone.
I don't like them to get dirty. He says he'd like to have papers so he can come and go back home because his mom died 2 weeks ago and he couldn't go to the funeral.
Working all day in
Well,
the
it's hot over
cornfield,
there.
mama. Delta sun, gonna burn on down on me.
Agua.
Working all day for the whole damn summer. Boss man says that there ain't gonna be no share for me.
What? I've got rights.
Debts to pay, no time to play. Gonna grab my guitar.
Good work.
When the moon is right in the dead of night, gonna slip away.
Are you hot?
Working all day in the hot summer. Though you say that the man that you see, the man in the field is free.
He pays taxes on somebody else's number. He never gonna
Might
get it.
not see any change, my brother, but I'm about as tired as a man, as tired as a man can be. Tired of working in the goddamn sun, gonna grab my guitar, yeah. Gonna leave my girl in the south behind me, gonna catch that train.
It's out of the cards. They just won't do it.
So many days since I've seen the sun, only ice and snow as far as the eye can see.
You have to import people to do our work.
Factory floor, well, it ain't much better, but I get paid at the end of the day, and I get to go home with my dignity. Every night in a two-bit bar, well, I play my guitar. Boss man pays just to come and see me, now I get my shit.
You looking for work? You're not doing anything? Complaining?
Every night in a two-bit bar, well, I play my guitar. Boss man pays just to come and see me, now I get my share. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get $9 plus an hour, plus a bonus. 100 grapes a day. Come see Andreas. Always looking for work.
And now we take a break from our show for a word from our sponsor.
Starting from right now, from the moment that you started this freaking video.
The creamiest, dreamiest, soft ice cream you get from Mr. Softy.
It's the Dave Darren Show.
Hey, buddy, try it on.
Brought to you by our very cool sponsor,
Cool air feels good.
Rock Solid Talent Entertainment, the cutting edge of entertainment, bringing you bands, radio, and live streams into the 21st century.
Everyone's gonna want to hang out with me. Woohoo! Yeah!
Hang my hopes on a lasso.
We've got a lot of bands that have come on my show, and I asked them what their goals, their drives, their ambitions are, and they tell me, Dave, I do it because I love doing it. I can't stop doing it. I love it. Then I repeat the question. Yeah, okay, so you love it now. You're going to love it until you start getting pissed off and aggravated and frustrated because the financial money's not coming in. So I say the love of it is cool, but you've got to come out of the bag eventually with drive and ambition. You can't be like this forever. And then they still repeat to me, they say, but I do it for the love of music. In my opinion, you've got too many people that are saying that, and just, I don't know if they're like succumbing to the fact that that's the way it is, giving up, or having that as an excuse in the background that, well, you know, no one succeeds in this shit. So why is it that none of the good, solid rock bands come to me and they say, yeah, Dave, you know what? We want to start making some shitload of money. We're going to start by not bombarding SoundCloud and Reverb Nation with all this free shit. So we've got a game plan to turn this shit around. So why is it everyone is so guilty of doing it for the love of music, and that's it?
Well, you got to do it for the love of music, or you're in it for the wrong fucking reason. That being said, you know, everything else you talked about is about marketing, and the thing is that, you know, a lot of bands, they like, hey man, we just jammed on this band, we just finished this song, and they go to the bar and they play this song, but there was somebody in the back with their phone up there recording this, playing this song, and it was going to be a song for the new album. Well, now, all of a sudden, this guy posted on Facebook, it has no marketable value anymore. The problem, keeping the secret until you're ready to release the big thing, and even then, with all the promotion and the big impact and all that, you know, I mean, you're just throwing the dice. Better hope that you got what they want, or you just did a whole lot of work for nothing, you know. So everybody's just kind of, you know, at my age, yeah, it might be possible that they might hear something out of this next band that comes out that may go big. It's totally possible, but it's not likely. You know, we're not 20 years old and moldable by the record company in any yet, you know, by any means.
Yep. I'm curious, what do you think about this? You know, it's funny. I'll go to gigs and I will see it. I would see it, at least half of the audience with their cell phones, whether they're saying that they're at the venue and they're talking about it, or I would say that out of the half that are on their cell phones, half of those people are ones that have the camera up, like you said, videotaping where they are of the band. Now, I don't know what you do with this. Like, for instance, when I see videos of that, because it's not a professional quality and because it's so fucking noisy all around them, and they're not close enough to the band to get a live feed, I would imagine if I saw one of them and I was interested in the band and it sounded like a shit quality, that's going to damage the band. So what do you do about that? Is there a way to prohibit that type of thing? Is you can't prohibit the cell phone recordings? You don't want to because you want any bit of advertisement to be out there? What's the solution with the cell phones? What do we do?
Well, when you're a small local band, you take whatever exposure you can. 99 out of 100 bands are going to go, oh, hell yeah, man, put that up, put it on YouTube, share it all you want. We want everybody to see it. And sometimes that seems to be working. I mean, Eldorado, for example, they did a couple of songs. They got they let a couple out that off of their new album, and now I'm sure they've been playing some of the stuff live. We're going to get a taste of it here on the 27th. I'll actually be playing with a cover band called Sons of Mercury that night out in Salton, Washington on the 27th, and Eldorado's going to be there, a whole bunch of local bands, a couple of nationals, and it's, I forget what it's a big benefit for something, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Into a beautiful enchantment. So turn the lights down, let the lights love flicker over these taking its toll. You're not yourself anymore. You're caught in the drama and rush diorama of people who've lost their will. So turn the lights down, baby. Let the lights of love flicker over these walls into a beautiful enchantment. So turn the lights down, let the lights of love flicker over these walls. She's blinded by the hopes and dreams of stardom. She's got what it takes, but it takes more than talent to break through empty promises and make it in this scene. She's going downtown, doing the things she needs to do to make her mom proud. She starts to break because in all of her makeup, she's hidden her beauty away. So turn the lights down, baby. Let the lights of love flicker over these walls into a beautiful enchantment. So turn the lights down, let the lights of love flicker over these walls. So stop, just give yourself 5 seconds to rest, 5 seconds to take a breath, and let the lights of love shine down. So stop, just give yourself 5 seconds to rest, 5 seconds to take a breath, and let the lights of love shine down. So turn the lights down, baby. Let the lights of love flicker over these walls into a beautiful enchantment. So turn the lights down, let the lights of love flicker over these walls. Turn the lights down, turn the lights down, turn the lights down, turn the lights down on me. Turn the lights down on me. Whoa.
I tell you what, give me a horror story. I want to give you mine, and then I want you to try to beat my horror story, okay? So I'm playing in a band in the 70s. It was probably in the late 70s. I had a buddy of mine, and this guy was kind of this lonely, loner type of dude. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to help him out. I'm going to bring him to the gig that we're playing. So I brought the guy to the gig we were playing. I let him drive separate because I had anticipation of getting laid that night, and I didn't need him to be extra baggage. And I wasn't quite into threesomes unless it was with 2 girls and me. I did not want to be in a threesome with another guy plugging up one of the other holes and I'm in the front hole or whatever. So I didn't want that, right? So I made the dude
go back in there again.
So I didn't want that, and I never want like 2 dudes there and me because I know a woman has 3 holes, but I don't want to experience seeing them plugged. So now I'm grossing out your wife a lot. But here's the story I got. So I brought him along with me. And eventually he vanished, and I'm thinking, man, this is probably cool. The guy's connected with a chick. I looked around for him because we were between sets, and I couldn't find the dude. So I decided, well, you know, I drank enough beer, I got to go pee, right? So I went to the bathroom, and I noticed that he was in the bathroom because the door wasn't completely shut of the stall he was in. And I hear this noise, this wretched vomiting taking place. So I thought, man, what am I going to do? I got to maybe help the dude out. I don't know if he has experience with vomiting or what, because there's an experience of the proper way to vomit, by the way, especially if you're in a band. But so I opened up the door, and I noticed I got to get the fuck out of there quick because I noticed that before he went in there, there must have been a guy that had constipation, and then it must have cut loose into a diarrhea, and my buddy is vomiting into a toilet full of diarrhea that's overflowing the toilet. Top that story, dude.
Okay.
You got it beat.
To the bathroom at the El Corazon.
So go ahead.
I mean, Dad, I could tell you a couple of stories about idiots, drunk idiots tumbling through fires, or the guy that tries to step on the stage, falls on the drum set, and kind of has to bring the show to a halt for a while until everything gets set back up. But dude, that's a rough one to top. I mean,
Crystal Pepsi, my friends. Kind of smells like an old man's nutsack. I don't know what that smells like in syrup. So, down the hatch.
Real men of genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
Hey guys, look at me.
What could you be thinking?
It couldn't look phonier if it had a chin strap.
Is it supposed to sit there in your stomach like that? That was fucking awesome, dude. That was awesome. Crystal Pepsi. Tastes like no other.
I don't know what you do. I've never been in that situation. Do you look at the toilet and then...
I've been like, I think I got it. I think I got it. Oh, diarrhea.
I couldn't play another gig for 2 months after that. So.
You know, somehow or another, I remember there was this one guy. We were doing a show down in Puyallup at the Liberty Theater, and what the hell was his name? The tattoo artist?
Brian Knapp.
Yeah, Brian Knapp. I will drop his name. Only because he was a trooper. He's really not one of my favorite people, but you know what this guy did is he had the flu, and the band he was in, they were up right before us, and he had a 5-gallon bucket set off to the side of his drum, or off to the side of the drum riser behind his floor tom. So I was like, he'd play a song, and then you'd see him get up, and he's back there just.
Oh man!
Oh man! I get up on the fucking drum riser. There was no mess because he got it all in a bucket. Holy shit! The whole stage smelled like fucking puke.
Oh my god! What a way to perform! Holy shit! Oh man!
Yeah, I know. I almost took my fucking plugs out and put in my fucking nose, dude.
Well, at least he was courteous enough to have a 5-gallon bucket in case some of the other band members needed to use the bucket, right?
Right.
Right. At least he didn't bring a little cup up there. He had a full bucket so everyone could empty into the bucket. How about that? You got to plug your wife's ears at this point. But how'd you do with the ladies back in the 70s and the 80s? How were you making out? Any twins or midgets or anything like that go on in your life, or what?
Well, actually, I wasn't playing back then. I didn't start playing until about the mid '90s. No, twins. There weren't that many of. There weren't any midgets, and I sure as fuck wasn't gonna ride 3 on my fucking Harley. I was one of the bikers out there riding around with one.
yourself in hibernation. You find yourself alone at night. You please yourself with masturbation, and I doubt you even do that right. You can't live inside my mind. You can't take away my dreams. You can't live in my reflection. You can't bring me down, bitch.
So, hey, welcome back to the Dave Darren Show. We're going to finish up here rapping with Rik. And Rik is from Seattle. He's got a kind of cool gig, I think. Tell me what's going on with you next. Are you focusing more on your personal music, your personal involvement in performing? Are you more into, I know you said you're doing some promotions there for local, Seattle bands to try to create that huge, better market. So what's going on? What's your next, I asked you, I said, what's your next set of goals? Since I brought that up, is I want everyone to have goals. What's your next set of goals?
Well, out of a couple of bands I played with, and mainly above ground, is going to rise a band called Ominous that my beautiful wife Tina actually came up with a name for that one, and it's like, yeah, and our Viking front guy, he's like, fuck yeah, dude, Ominous, man. He's already like drawing a bunch of Odin symbols and stuff, and because he's a Norwegian, right? Yeah, I said, okay, I think rape and pillage when we're doing writing lyrics here, and Mike and I, we've got really seriously down tune, drop C, just really fucking heavy duty stuff. So look out for something ominous coming out. Something metal is going to continue to do what it's doing, and that's bringing the community back together. Okay. We might even have a label.
Cool. How do people connect with Something Metal? How do they do that? Is it like more of a Facebook thing? Is it more of a website thing or a Twitter thing? How do people engage with that?
Well, we have both. The website is still under construction, but it is www.somethingmetal.com. But you can also go to Something Metal Northwest Promotions on Facebook and friend up or like the page and follow us there. It features a lot of the local venues and a lot of local talent, really what this whole Northwest is about. And the thing's just starting in Seattle and expanding. So, we'll be, by next summer, we'll have a regional grip on the Pacific Northwest.
Cool. By the way, what's in back of you on, I guess that'd be your left-hand side? I see some baskets there. Are those the 5-gallon jugs to fill up with vomit?
Oh, what? You mean right?
Right in back of you. Back of you on your left. Are those the vomit buckets?
No. Those are my drums.
Oh, I thought they were.
Nobody's puked in the padded bags while I have my drums out of them, so.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Why don't you get your wife in the picture here and do a little side-by-side cameo since you're both involved in the same gig, right?
We got. Our pit bull might want to try and get up in this one,
too. How long have you two been married? Quite a while, or how long?
May 20th was the day we got married this last year.
Long time.
All right, so, okay.
We've been together for a few years.
Okay, now since it's been a long time, I'm going to ask your wife to slip her tongue in your mouth so we can have a video shoot of that. Okay? I want tongue there. There we go. Oh! All right, half my audience is going to start masturbating after the show. All right, so
let me put the camera down a little bit.
That's pretty cool. That is a tremendous looking woman. You're a lucky dude, man. Lucky guy.
I know it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so there we go, guys. Thanks a lot for being in the show. I saw that she felt up your breast. She felt up your breast. Look at that.
Forgot this one.
Oh, there you go. Cool dog, too. What's your dog's name?
This is Deja Voodoo. See? Look over here at the camera.
Like, help!
All right, you guys were a blast to have on the show. Thanks so much.
Year and a half full female pit bull.
You guys were tremendous. Thanks a lot for being on the show. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Later on, man. Bye.